Dub Nation, help me help you. I want you guys to know everything about your favorite NBA team, and right now we're on the road to get to 62,000 subscribers. We're currently at 61,924, and full transparency, I talked to the bosses not long ago, and they were talking about how we might go subscriber-only mode on Warriors Today by Chat Sports pretty soon. So that means if you're not subscribed, you're not going to be able to get the content that we post, which is news and rumors, breaking news, everything you need to know about the Golden State Warriors. So I highly suggest, if you guys want to know everything about the Dubs, all you got to do, especially if we happen to go sub-only mode, is to hit that sub button for me. What's going on, Warriors fans? Welcome into Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Allie Barefoot, and the Houston Rockets are unfortunately creeping up game by game. With their win last night over the Portland Trail Blazers, they're now only half a game back from 10th place, which is currently where Golden State is. Now, this is why the Golden State Warriors fans should start to be a little bit concerned about the Houston Rockets, which is exactly what we're going to break down here on this show. But just to put it in perspective for you guys, they're tied right now when it comes to win, 36 all. However, like you see, the Rockets have one more loss than the Warriors at 35. Well, the Warriors tonight play the Miami Heat. They have a tough couple of next games, and the Rockets also have a tough couple of next games. So this is going to be a must-win every single game moving forward. But I really just want to talk about why or why not the Warriors should be concerned about the Houston Rockets. Because unlike the Warriors, the Rockets are going absolutely crazy right now in the win column. There are 9 straight wins since the middle of March. Their last loss came against the Los Angeles Clippers, of course, one of the top 3 teams in the NBA Western Conference right now. But there's one player in particular that is popping off for the team in Texas, and that's going to be third-year player Jalen Green. He's averaging the last 9 games 27 points. He's rebounding about 6 boards a game, 3.5 assists, but here's where it really gets good. 50% from the field and 42% from a three-point line. He is making his name known. This is not a type of stat line for all NBA. This is a type of stat line you see for him to make his cause for the NBA All-Star team. He is going insane when it matters most in the month of March. You know what? Credit to him. Recognizes ball. However, the Warriors have just as good players on their team. They're just struggling to find how to show that each and every game. Not to mention, on the other side of the ball, it's not just offensive of what Jalen Green is doing right now for the Houston Rockets, but it's defensively as well. He had 4 steals against the Blazers and 1 block, so he's working very hard on both sides of the ball. Once again, not that the Warriors aren't. I see Jonathan Kuminga, I see Draymond Green, Brandon Bajemski, Steph Curry doing this also night in and night out. So what's making the Houston Rockets soar the last couple of games? Well, it's a hot streak. When you have that momentum, it's really hard to knock it down. The Warriors knew that. They had 6 wins earlier this season. Everybody thought they were going to go and make another run to the finals, which they still can. But there's one NBA analyst that wants to talk about the play-in tournament especially, and what it means to the Golden State Warriors. That analyst is going to be former NBA player Isaiah Thomas on NBA TV. He broke down and said, look, the Warriors and the Lakers, the last 2 years, they should be thanking Adam Silver for the play-in tournament. There's somebody knocking on the door, and those Rockets aren't going away. They've had a lot of rebuild in the last 3 years for the Houston Rockets. They've got a lot of players that are now good ball handlers, like Fred VanVleet, and you've got Jalen Green, and you've got first-year coach with the Rockets, Ime Udoka, since he came off of the Boston Celtics. So clearly you've got the resources to be able to make a run. This is one reason why the Warriors should at least be a little bit concerned. Like Isaiah Thomas said, these guys are coming to knock on the door, and I just want the Warriors to be prepared when they're ready to answer it. Because half a game back, they're going to have to sooner or later address that these standings are getting a little bit close. But that doesn't mean that they're over. So I have a question for you guys. Just like what Isaiah Thomas just said, that they're going to have to be prepared for the Rockets coming, are you guys worried about the Rockets? I see their headlines every single night after the game. Jalen Green did this. The Houston Rockets are continuing to win. It's making me a little nervous just because there's 10 games left in the regular season after tonight's game for the Golden State Warriors. So I'm going to type Y for yes, but it's a good kind of worry. It's a I want to challenge type of worry. But go ahead and type Y for yes, type N for no down low. While you guys are doing that, giving me your takes on the Houston Rockets, why don't I go ahead and tell you guys about PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America, and the best way to go on ahead and test your skills and your hoops knowledge. Because look, I know football season is over, but the action on the floor is heating up. March Madness is here. And like I said, a lot of NBA players, a lot of NBA teams are trying to make it into the playoffs and the play-in tournament. So I decided just to go NBA today with my picks, but that's the beauty of PrizePicks. They're never biased. You can mix and match between different sports, including your March Madness picks, as it does pick up on Thursday, the men's tournament. But for tonight, I'm focused on one game, and that's going to be the Golden State Warriors versus the Miami Heat. I have Bam Adebayo having more than 10.5 rebounds just because we all know the Warriors have been struggling at the center position and struggling with Draymond Green's back injury. And Bam has been known to clean the glass quite frequently. Steph Curry, I do have more than 2.5 turnovers. He has the ball majority of the time, and I hope he plays more than 30 minutes a game tonight. So I do have Steph Curry having more than 2.5 turnovers. No slight to Steph Curry. Mama's just trying to get her bag. So go ahead and go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match, and you're going to find quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, an enormous selection of players and stat types. That's what makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. One more time, just go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It is that easy. What's not going to be easy is the Warriors' next 5 games. They got the Miami Heat tonight, the Orlando Magic, which have been falling in the Eastern Conference standings. So that can absolutely be a win. The Hornets, that should be a win. The Spurs, they beat them. They split their series a couple weeks ago when they played the Spurs without Steph Curry, which is good news. And then you're going to have the Dallas Mavericks, a tough opponent in the Western Conference. So it's not going to be a cakewalk in these next 5 games, let alone the next 11, for the Warriors to be able to make their stance in the 10th place and possibly even continue a win streak of their own and make it even higher, because they're only 3.5 games back from 9th place, which is where the Lakers are. So I'm not saying just because the Rockets make their move into 10th doesn't mean the Warriors can't also jump a couple of spots. So there's definitely still time. But I wanted to point out what Jalen Green had to say about the Warriors being in 10th place after they won last night against the Portland Trail Blazers. He said, look, how close is Jalen Green looking in the play-in race? He said, I'm looking at it every day. I was watching the Warriors last night, and we're making a push. And when asked, will Green watch the Warriors tomorrow night, a.k.a. tonight when they play the Miami Heat, he said, yeah, for sure. Come on. Why would you not? Why would you not scout out the opponent that you're trying to knock down right now? I credit Jalen Green for having that dog mentality, but the Warriors also have a dog mentality. Like I showed you guys in yesterday's video, Draymond Green's response to the Rockets creeping up to 10th place is, I don't give a damn about the Rockets. 1, this is a very Draymond Green response. 2, I understand because you should be only focusing on yourself. But 3, I feel like kind of in the back of your mind, you should be realizing how close the Houston Rockets are coming for your spot in the top 10. Because I want to point out what the Houston Rockets have done in the month of March. Since the first day, Houston has slipped up into the top 5 in NBA stats. They're number 3 right now in the offensive rating and number 5 in the defensive rating. I just showed you what Jalen Green's stats look like, putting up nearly a 30-piece a night. On top of that, having 4 steals, 1 block against a pretty good team. Obviously, he's been running it on both sides of the ball. He's not the only player. They've got a lot of other resources on there. And I'm also saying the Warriors have a lot of resources as well, but their stats just aren't kind of showing it right now in a very crucial month for a lot of NBA teams. The Warriors are 15th in their offensive rating in the NBA, and they're 21 in defensive rating in the NBA. Not a very good stat line coming up against the 11th place seed. I feel like if you are higher seed, you should have better numbers, but every month is harder and different for a team. Steph Curry got an injury. Klay Thompson learned his role after moving into the second rotation in the last week of February. You also had Chris Paul coming back from an injury as well. The Warriors have had so many external things to worry about this year. We've never fully been able to see them at full strength with no distractions. But the good news is that there is 11 games left here for the Golden State Warriors, and playoffs are not here. If the playoffs were tomorrow, we'd be making a different video. But it's not too late for Steph Curry and Steve Kerr, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Jonathan Kuminga, the rest of the Golden State Warriors to figure out how bad they want to be in the postseason. Steph Curry said this after their loss against the Minnesota Timberwolves. He said, look, the NBA is such a weird league. It just takes one little spark to get yourself going. Every team goes through it in a season. You see what Houston's doing right now. They got one little spark, and they ran off whatever it is, 8, 9 in a row. We're capable of doing it until we run out of games. That's the mindset. And Steph Curry, you have plenty of games to do that as well. And like he said, the Houston Rockets are just hot right now. The Houston Rockets are one of the worst teams in the Western Conference at one point, and now they're knocking on 10th place door. And that is okay. All it takes is one win, and then you keep that ball rolling. The Warriors had done just that a couple weeks ago. They crushed the Milwaukee Bucks on national TV, and it looked like, hey, this might be the turnaround. And thankfully, there is enough games still left that if the Warriors do want to make a hot run with a lot of momentum, they can absolutely do that, especially if you still have guys like Steph Curry in his prime, Jonathan Kuminga dropping 20 points per game, Andrew Wiggins finding his flow, Klay Thompson and Chris Paul running that second unit. But my overall take here is that it's okay Houston is hot right now. The Warriors still have the upper hand being in the top 10. Houston's not there yet. And I know they've got the hot hand, but it's all right. It can get cold. Stick to what's working. You now know what your second unit is. You now know what your starters can do. But don't just try to change it because you can and you want to switch it up and see what's working, a.k.a. taking Steph Curry out of the fourth quarter, Steve Kerr. Run with what's working. Deal with the rest in the meantime. Don't focus on the offseason. Focus on the next game ahead, and the Warriors should be okay. Now, I have a fun little weigh-in here for you guys. I want you guys to comment down below. You guys ever play Mad Libs as a kid where you just kind of have to fill in an adjective or a noun when you were little to fill in the sentence? Well, I want you guys to do that right now about the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors have been a blank team this season. You can go with Warriors have been an inconsistent team this season. Warriors have been an exceptional team this season, a playoff bound, a disrupting team. There are numerous words out there. What do you feel like the Warriors have been this season up until March 26th, which is today? What do you guys say the Warriors have been? I'm going to say they've been a confusing team. I'm not sure, how great they can be because we haven't been able to see them at full strength. So it's definitely been a very confusing time, but confusing works. I can take confusing. Go on ahead and comment yours down below. And like I said at the beginning of this video, we are trying to get to 62,000 subscribers. Hey, look, man, as much as I would love to be the boss around here, I'm not. I've got two great bosses who have already told me we might go into sub-only mode, and I do not want you guys to not have access to this content. And it's completely easy and completely free. All you have to do is hit that sub button for me.